Welcome back, and today we're heading to the Appalachian Mountains for an encounter where a Bigfoot was talking like a human. Let's dive in. I've lived in the Appalachian Mountains my entire life, born and raised here, deep in the folds of mist, pine, and stories older than the trees themselves. My family came over from Ireland generations ago and settled in West Virginia before I moved to the North Carolina side. Around here, you learn to respect the mountains. You also learn not to question the things you can't explain. I've seen strange lights in the hollows, heard cries that weren't quite animal or human, and felt eyes on me in the stillness of the night. But nothing comes close to what happened that evening. It started with my dog Ozzy. He's a big golden retriever, the sweetest, gentlest thing you'd ever meet. He never growls, never. But that night, around 11 p.m., he was pacing in the living room, his fur standing straight up, letting out his low, deep growl that chilled me to the bone. It wasn't the kind of sound a dog makes when they're startled. This was primal, like he was warning something or someone. I figured maybe a raccoon or a coyote was getting too close to the house. I grabbed my flashlight and called for Ozzy and my other dog and stepped out into the yard. The night air was thick and heavy, the kind that presses down on you like a wet cloth. The moon was bright enough to see by, casting pale light through the treetops. Everything felt off. Ozzy wouldn't even leave my side, pressing against my leg as we moved toward my workshop at the edge of the property. That's when I noticed the door was wide open. I always lock the door. Always. I walked down to close it, Ozzy glued to my hip, his growl rising every step we took. The moment I shut the door, the very second the latch clicked, the woods exploded with sound. It was chaos. It sounded like dozens of people, or something just as heavy tearing through the trees at full speed. Branches cracked, trees shook, leaves flew into the air. It was like a stampede, but not in any direction I could follow. It was everywhere. I sprinted back to the house, slammed the door, and locked it behind me, heart pounding. I grabbed my pistol and my mag light, took a few deep breaths, and decided I wasn't letting the fear win. Ozzy stood by the door trembling, staring out into the dark. We stepped back outside, and that's when the whispering began. It surrounded us, soft, constant, almost like murmuring voices. At first I thought it might be the wind in the leaves, but there was no wind. The air was dead still. The sound was coming from all around us, up the ridge, down by the creek, even from behind the workshop. It sounded human, but wrong. Hundreds of voices, low and disjointed, like a crowd full of people, all whispering at once, but too soft to understand. You could almost make out words, like they were just beyond the edge of hearing. I swept the light across the tree line. Nothing, not a shape, not a glimmer of eyeshine, but the voices never stopped. That's when the sickness hit me. It came out of nowhere, a heavy wave that made my skin crawl and my stomach twist. My head spun, like I must have been standing too close to a running engine. It wasn't fear, it was something else, something passing and from every direction. Like the night itself was trying to push me out. I grabbed Ozzy and stumbled back inside. The whispering followed. All through the night I heard footsteps crunching in the gravel outside, slow and deliberate, a creak of the porch boards. Then, at random moments, the same murmuring would rise again. Every time I stood up to look out the window, everything went silent. Not just the voices, but everything. No crickets, no frogs, no wind. Just total, suffocating quiet. It felt like the house wasn't even mine anymore. Like something had claimed the night outside and was waiting for me to open the door. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. The air felt heavy, almost electric. The best way I can describe it is as having a soaking wet quilt draped over you, smothering close and full of weight. When morning came, the woods looked normal again. Birds were singing, sunlight was streaming through the trees, and everything seemed fine. But I knew better. Whatever was out there that night, it wasn't a normal animal, and it wasn't anything from this world. And sometimes, late at night, when the air gets still and the woods go quiet at once, Ozzy still lifts his head and growls, that same deep, haunting growl that started it all. I don't know what's in these mountains, but I know this much. The stories my grandparents told weren't just stories. The Appalachian Mountains are alive, and sometimes they whisper back. Well, that is the story, and this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon.